Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The only thing colder than Casey's smile was the chicken piccata sitting untouched on my plate. 15 years of marriage and she picks Romano's, our town's pathetic excuse for fine dining, to drop a bomb on me. Happy anniversary, Jake. She slid a manila envelope across the checkered tablecloth like she was serving divorce papers, which, I'd learn soon enough, wasn't far from the truth. I run a small auto repair shop in Millbrook, Maine, population 8,000 on a good day. My hands are permanently stained with motor oil, and my idea of dressing up is a clean flannel shirt. Casey, on the other hand, works at Henderson & Associates, the town's premier law firm. She wears suits that cost more than my monthly rent and talks about networking opportunities like their religious experiences. "What's this?" I asked, though something in her expression already had my stomach churning. "Open it." Inside was a paternity test. Official letterhead, laboratory seals, the whole 9 yards. And there, in black and white, was confirmation that Eli, my 7-year-old son, the kid I'd taught to throw a curveball and helped with homework every night, wasn't biologically mine. "Surprise," Casey said, her voice flat as roadkill. "Your son isn't yours. I'm filing for divorce Monday morning." The restaurant seemed to tilt sideways. Conversations at other tables became white noise. I stared at the paper, reading the same line over and over. Probability of paternity, 0%. "Who?" I managed to croak. Casey's eyes flicked toward a table near the window. There sat Brady Morrison, her law partner, nursing a glass of wine and watching us with barely concealed amusement. When our eyes met, he raised his glass in a mock toast. "Brady and I have been together for 3 years," Casey continued, her tone businesslike. "We're moving in together. I'll be taking half of everything, including the house. You can have supervised visitation with Eli, assuming you still want to play pretend daddy." My hands were shaking. Not from sadness, from pure, white-hot rage. You planned this. The restaurant, the timing, having him here to watch. I wanted to be civilized about it. Civilized. Right. Like publicly humiliating your husband of 15 years in front of the town's biggest gossip mill was the height of etiquette. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the floor. Every eye in the place was on us now. In a town like Millbrook, this would be front-page news by morning. "You know what, Casey? You're absolutely right. This is the perfect way to handle things." I picked up my water glass and dumped it over the paternity test, watching the ink blur. Civilized as hell. I walked out without another word, but not before making a quick detour past Brady's table. His smug expression faltered when I leaned down and whispered, "Enjoy my leftovers, counselor. Hope you're better at keeping her interested than I was." 3 days later, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Word had spread faster than a grease fire. My best friend Ricky called from his bar downtown. "Jake, you need to get down here now." The Rusty Anchor was Millbrook's unofficial town hall, where everyone gathered to drink cheap beer and share expensive gossip. When I walked in, conversations died mid-sentence. Ricky, an ex-boxer built like a refrigerator, motioned me toward the back booth. "It's bad, brother," he said, sliding me a whiskey. "Casey and Brady threw a little new beginnings party here last night. Half the town showed up." "A party?" "Complete with speeches about moving on from toxic relationships and finding true love. Paula Henderson was here taking pictures for her Facebook page. Paula Henderson, Casey's best friend, and the town's self-appointed social media queen. She ran the local PTA like a military operation and considered herself Millbrook's unofficial mayor. If Paula was documenting Casey's celebration, it meant she was orchestrating a full character assassination campaign. "There's more," Ricky continued. "Your shop's been losing clients. Word is that Casey's been telling people you were abusive, that she finally got the courage to leave. The whiskey burned, but not as much as the betrayal. Abusive? I never laid a finger on her. I know that. You know that. But Paula's got reach, and she's been busy. Check your Yelp reviews lately? I pulled out my phone. Jake's auto repair had dropped from 4.8 stars to 2.1 overnight. Review after review from accounts I didn't recognize. Owner has anger issues. Wouldn't trust him with my car. Heard he's violent at home. Can't support a business like that. Poor Casey. So brave for leaving him. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't rage. It was something colder, more calculated. They want to destroy me, I said quietly. Question is, what are you going to do about it? Ricky leaned forward. You going to let them stomp on you, or are you going to fight back? That night, I sat in my empty house. Casey had already moved out, taking Eli with her, and made a decision. If they wanted to play dirty, I could get filthy. I started with research. Casey might be a lawyer, but I knew things about cars, about people, and about this town that her fancy education couldn't teach. I also knew her weaknesses, like how she'd been using the firm's credit card for personal expenses, how she'd been padding her billable hours, how she'd been having her affair in room 12 of the Sleepy Inn Motel every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 3 years. I'd suspected something was going on, but I'd been too proud or too stupid to investigate. Now, with nothing left to lose, I became very thorough. The plan came together like a perfectly tuned engine. Every piece had to work in harmony, or the whole thing would fall apart. First, I needed evidence. Real evidence, not just suspicions and hurt feelings. I spent a week documenting everything. Casey's lies, Brady's arrogance, Paula's orchestrated campaign against me. The breakthrough came when I remembered Casey's habit of leaving her laptop open. She'd changed the locks on the house, but she hadn't changed her passwords. A quick visit during her work hours gave me access to 3 years of emails, texts, and financial records. What I found was even worse than I'd imagined. Not only had Casey been cheating, but Paula had been helping her plan it. Emails between them going back 2 years, discussing how to manage Jake's reaction and minimize financial exposure. But the real gold mine was a group chat between Casey, Brady, and Paula called Project Freedom. They'd been planning this divorce like a military campaign, complete with strategies for destroying my reputation and isolating me from Eli. Brady. Jake's too stupid to fight back legally. Blue-collar types always fold. Casey. Paula's handling the social media angle. By the time we're done, he won't have a friend left in town. Paula. Already got 3 PTA moms to leave bad reviews. Should tank his business within a month. Reading those messages felt like swallowing broken glass. But it also gave me clarity. They thought I was just some dumb mechanic who'd roll over and take whatever they dished out. Time to show them how wrong they were. I started small. A few anonymous tips to the State Bar Association about Casey's billing practices. Some carefully worded questions in local Facebook groups about the ethics of lawyers dating their partners. Nothing traceable, nothing illegal, just seeds of doubt planted in fertile ground. Then I got creative. Brady drove a pristine Tesla Model S, his pride and joy. Every morning, he'd spend 10 minutes in the firm's parking lot polishing imaginary spots off the paint. So when he came out after work to find his car covered in bumper stickers reading, "I brake for cheaters," and "honk if you've seen my ethics," he nearly had a stroke. The best part? I'd used industrial adhesive. Those stickers weren't coming off without taking the paint with them, but my masterpiece was yet to come. Paula's downfall started with her own arrogance. She'd been so busy destroying my reputation that she forgot to cover her own tracks. A little digging revealed that she'd been embezzling from the PTA fundraiser accounts for years, using the money to fund her lifestyle. I compiled everything into a neat little package and sent it anonymously to the school board, the local newspaper, and the IRS. Then I sat back and watched the fireworks. The explosion was spectacular. Paula went from social media queen to pariah overnight. Parents demanded investigations, audits, criminal charges. Her perfect little world crumbled in 48 hours. Casey tried to distance herself, but the damage was done. Guilt by association is a powerful force in small towns, and everyone knew they were best friends. The law firm started asking uncomfortable questions about Casey's own financial practices. Brady, meanwhile, was dealing with his own problems. His wife had found out about the affair. Apparently, someone had sent her copies of all those incriminating emails. She filed for divorce and froze their joint accounts, leaving Brady scrambling to maintain his expensive lifestyle. But I wasn't done yet. The final confrontation came at Millbrook's annual Founders' Day celebration. The whole town would be there, including Casey, Brady, and what was left of Paula's reputation. I'd prepared a special presentation for the occasion. The town square was packed with families enjoying the late summer evening. Local bands played on a makeshift stage, while vendors sold overpriced funnel cake and warm beer. It was the kind of wholesome small-town event that Casey and her friends loved to be seen at. I waited until the open mic portion of the evening, when anyone could take the stage and address the crowd. Paula had done it for years, giving speeches about community values and family traditions. Tonight, it was my turn. "Evening, everyone," I said, stepping up to the microphone. "For those who don't know me, I'm Jake Sullivan. I run the auto shop on Main Street. Or at least I did until recently." The crowd murmured. They knew drama was coming. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank some special people who've taught me valuable lessons about family, loyalty, and the true meaning of friendship. I spotted Casey in the crowd, her face pale. Brady was trying to blend into the background, but his height made him impossible to miss. Paula was nowhere to be seen, probably hiding at home, waiting for the IRS investigation to blow over. First, I'd like to thank my wife Casey for showing me that 15 years of marriage means nothing when there's a promotion opportunity involved. "Casey, stand up. Don't be shy." Casey was shaking her head frantically, but the crowd had spotted her. Someone started clapping sarcastically. Casey taught me that love is conditional, that family is just a word, and that some people will destroy anything to get what they want. She also taught me the importance of paternity tests. Apparently, they make great anniversary gifts. The crowd was eating it up. Phones were out, recording everything. This would be all over social media within minutes. I'd also like to thank Brady Morrison, Casey's business partner in more ways than one. Brady taught me that stealing another man's wife is perfectly acceptable as long as you drive a Tesla and wear expensive suits. "Brady, where are you?" "Oh, there you are. How's the car running? Still finding bits of adhesive?" Brady's face was red with rage and embarrassment. He started pushing through the crowd toward the stage, but Ricky and a few other guys blocked his path. And finally, I'd like to thank Paula Henderson for showing me how social media can be weaponized by small-minded people with too much time and too little integrity. Paula couldn't be here tonight. Something about a federal investigation, but I'm sure she's watching from home. The crowd was in full chaos now. Some people were laughing, others were shouting questions, and everyone was recording. Casey was crying, Brady was being held back by 3 guys, and I was just getting started. You see, folks, these 3 wonderful people decided that I was too stupid, too poor, and too trusting to fight back when they decided to destroy my life. They thought they could run me out of town like some kind of Western movie. I pulled out a thick manila envelope, the same kind Casey had used to deliver the paternity test. But here's the thing about underestimating people. Sometimes you get surprised. This envelope contains 3 years' worth of emails, financial records, and evidence of fraud, adultery, and conspiracy. Copies have already been sent to the appropriate authorities, but I thought you all deserved to know the truth about your community leaders. I opened the envelope and began reading selected quotes from their private communications, including their plans to destroy my business and isolate me from my son. With each revelation, The crowd's mood shifted from entertainment to outrage. Brady finally broke free from his restraints and charged the stage. But I was ready for him. As he lunged forward, I stepped aside and watched him tumble off the platform into a decorative fountain. The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. Brady emerged from the fountain, soaking wet and covered in algae, his expensive suit ruined. He tried to climb out with some dignity, but slipped and fell back in twice. Casey was sobbing now, begging me to stop, but I wasn't finished. The best part, I continued, is that they documented everything, every lie, every scheme, every moment of betrayal. They were so confident in their superiority that they never considered the possibility of consequences. I held up a USB drive. Everything's on here. Financial fraud, ethics violations, conspiracy to commit defamation. I'm sure the authorities will find it fascinating reading. Security was finally moving toward the stage, but I was done anyway. I'd said what I came to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the real Casey Sullivan, Brady Morrison, and Paula Henderson. Remember this moment the next time someone tries to tell you that good people always finish last. I dropped the microphone and walked off the stage to thunderous applause. Behind me, I could hear Casey screaming my name, Brady demanding someone call the police, and the crowd buzzing with excitement over the night's entertainment. But I wasn't sticking around for the aftermath. I had a truck to catch and a new life to start somewhere else. Eli would understand someday, maybe even thank me for showing him what happens when people mistake kindness for weakness. As I drove out of Millbrook for the last time, I could see the flashing lights of police cars in my rearview mirror, but they weren't coming for me. They were probably there to fish Brady out of the fountain and restore some semblance of order to the chaos I'd left behind. The radio was playing some old country song about revenge being a dish best served cold. I turned it up and smiled. After 3 months of careful planning, tonight had been absolutely perfect. Casey wanted a villain, she got one. And unlike her carefully constructed lies, my revenge would have lasting consequences. The truth has a way of doing that.